Okay, hey folks. So today we're going to be just doing something a little bit different with YouTube video. I thought it would be kind of fun or interesting to kind of go over some basics of art and learning the basics of how to draw. Now, we are doing this digitally, so it's not exactly how I learned, because I learned these same sort of techniques, but with charcoal and pastels and that kind of stuff. So same principles. We're going to kind of be starting out with basic shapes and lighting and shading. So that's going to be this week's video. And this may end up being a series that I continue. We'll just kind of have to see where it goes and how well it does. So I'm going to be starting out using, I am going to be using a bunch of Kyle T. Webster's brushes in Photoshop. I don't know what all ones. I downloaded them a really long time ago. But I'm going to be starting out with my sketching using the animator pencil with blue, because, it's fun. So let's see. No layers. Okay, yeah. So we're going to be doing this layer and we're going to call it basic sketches. Okay. So we're going to start out with probably the simplest and easiest one, which is a cube. You're not really ever going to find anything easier to draw than a cube as far as basic simple shading, because it's drawing planes and then shading them differently. I am going to go ahead and fill this layer with a very neutral, just flat gray. So actually we might end up changing this to a darker blue. There we go. Okay. And I could be using the shape tool kind of things to do this. It'd be much cleaner, but I kind of want this to be something that can also translate to traditional medium. So I'm going to increase my brush size. And this is like rough and simple. This is not super. This is just getting a hang of like really basic stuff, and so I'm not trying to make my shapes perfect. So you're gonna draw a square. It's super easy. It's great. The way I learned it is you draw a square, then you draw another square. Again, this is not perfect by any means. And then you just like connect these. Wow. Now if you want like a 3-dimensional cube, you just put that one in too. So that's that. Now we're going to erase the ones that take place there that are inside the cube, because we're kind of going for a block, like a wooden block kind of thing right now. So there it is. That is a basic cube in perspective. Yeah. Very, very easy 1-point perspective. We might go ahead, we're going to go ahead and do the sketches of all 3 of the shapes we're going to do today. That way I don't have to mess with changing the blue to gray until after I'm done. So next we're going to be doing a cone, which is essentially a triangle with a curved bottom. So we're just going to do really easy, really fast. And then, is it perfect? No, but it will serve our purpose. So there we go. There's that. And then my personal favorite, which when I was doing it in art school, went like back in junior high when I was going to art school, this is the one that nearly made me quit art. And my mom and my teacher both had to encourage me through it, but also give me some tough love through it, because they knew I was only thinking about quitting because it was hard. And they wouldn't make the decision for me. That was so frustrating. You know, sometimes when you just want someone else to make the decision for you so you don't have to make it. This is one of those moments in my life where I remember, I was young, but I remember thinking, no, I want you to make this decision for me. I don't want to have to make it. And neither of them would tell me, no, you can quit. I mean, you quit, go ahead and quit. Neither of them would tell me that, but neither of them would tell me, no, you have to do this. They were making me make the decision, which, you know, is a really cool thing, because they were making me make decisions for myself. And so I battled through this fear somehow, and I ended up doodling spheres on the margins of my school notebooks for a long time after that. All these basic shapes. After I learned all these basic shapes, I ended up doodling a lot of them, because it was just cool for that to be a skill that I had. Okay, so now I'm going to do it. There are kind of a couple, I don't know. Again, I'm not going for a perfect sphere, but we will say this is not how to draw a perfect sphere or a good sphere. You can do it. If you draw from the shoulder, it's a little bit better, and you have to do like a lot of circles and then go in and like refine it. That's one way. Doing a lot of small strokes, a lot of curving small strokes is always going to be almost always much more productive than doing a lot of big strokes. So I've had people tell me over the years, man, my goodness, you draw such good circles. And it's literally, you just figure out that, I mean, it's a technique. It's something you kind of need to know how to do is, as an artist. I would like my eraser to be a good pencil-y kind of eraser, not, when I'm doing this, not a hard-edged thing. So it's almost more sculpting. When you're drawing a sphere freehand and, you know, you're not using Quick Shape and Procreate or, you know, the shape drawing kind of tools that I don't know what they're called in Photoshop, which I'm in right now. You'd think I know, but I don't. It's a little bit, it's more like sculpting. It's about give and take, push and pull, draw and erase. Like, that's it. So this is about as good as this thing's gonna get right now. We will do more with it later, probably. So we have our three basic shapes. Oh, actually, I forgot one. We're going to move this buddy. This might end up being a slightly longer video, which I was not anticipating, but it might. Okay, so we're going to do that. Deselect. Okay. And this is the other one, which is the cylinder. It is 2 lines. And this is a very imperfect cylinder, but it is a cylinder-ish. It's a wonky cylinder. It's a unique cylinder. It's like it looks like a roll of paper towels is what it looks like. Here, let's just make it a roll of paper towels. No, we're not gonna do that. But there we go. There's a roll of paper towels. Should do a roll of toilet paper, since that's funny when it comes to current events. Memes, all the toilet paper memes right now. And in, 5 years, people will find this YouTube video and go like, what's she talking about? And if you were there, you know. Yeah, anyways, so there we go. We gotta find ways to laugh at all this. Okay, so I'm going to lock the layer right over here. I'm going to lock the layer, and I'm just going to go ahead and pick a slightly darker gray, but not completely darker gray, and go to fill and fill. Okay, so there we go. We have that. And I'm going to go ahead and do it on a different layer. The shading that we're about to start doing. But, yeah. So we're going to make we're going to start doing our shadows, and we're going to do those on a lighter, or a gray that's lighter than the lines, but darker than the neutral background. Okay, now let's just go and find something. What is this one like? Oh, that's perfect. I love that. Okay, so we're going to do we're going to do each shape first. I should label these things. We're going to make that. Let's see, go back to the pencil. What's this thing called? Cube, cone, sphere, and cylinder. Who wants to bet that I just spelled cylinder wrong? I'm gonna Google it real fast because I don't want to be sitting here, and I don't want to upload this video and have spelled cylinder wrong for the entire time. So I am going to check my spelling. It's one of those, I'm pretty sure, I want to say I spelled it right. But yes, I did. Cool. It's just one of those words, most words are like this for me, that if I look at it long enough, or if I see it written out, not when I'm reading it, just when I see it written out, it suddenly looks wrong. So most words will do that in my brain. Okay, let's say we're going to say our light source is going to be coming from up here. Light source. The sun. There we go. So that means everything else is in shadow over here. Okay, so that actually is not the darkest dark that I want to use. So we're going to go a little bit darker. There we go. This is going to be our dark. This is like the absolute most basic kind of shape drawing. Cubes are so easy. I love cubes. And this is very two-dimensional. We're not going to be doing a ton of shading until we get to not on the cube. We will when we get to the more rounded shapes. Okay, I lied. I am doing a little bit of shading, but not a ton. Okay, so wow, there we go. Where's the smudge tool? It's that easy. Literally, that's a cube. That's a basic cube. It's super easy, kind of fun. So yes, that's that. Okay, now we're going to go on to the cone. This one was fun too. You're basically going to have, we're kind of going on an approach where you have three different three different values. Thank you. I'm having trouble with words right now. So we're going to be doing dark. Should have left this as the neutral background, but I didn't. But dark, medium, and light. And for the cone, we're just going to use the neutral background for the medium. So that's what we're going to do. And then, see, right now we kind of have almost a a planal shape. It's, you know, very hard edges, kind of planes. And we're going to use a smudge tool here. You don't have to, I mean, this is quick and easy, simple, basic shading. I'm not going to berate you on the goods and bads of using a smudge tool for your shading. Some people think that's a terrible thing, and no artist, no self-respecting artist should ever do that. And some people are like, it's a tool, use it as is necessary, as best benefits you. So there we go. Now we have a basic shaded cone. Actually, I want the dark to come up a little bit higher, so that's not wonderful, but it's basic, you know? We're just kind of doing basic shapes here. Okay, so there is a basic cone. Basic shading. This is very like traditional basic kind of stuff. Oh my, we're already 18 minutes into this thing. I better go faster so that I don't bore you all. So this might be a slightly longer series if I continue to do these, where we're gonna, you know, the videos themselves will probably be a little bit longer. Okay, so this cylinder is going to actually be like a cup. It's going to be a hollow cylinder. We're not going for, what am I trying to say? We're not going to go for a log type cylinder where it's not hollow, because there's something I want to show y'all about how to draw hollow kind of objects. Actually, no, I take it back. We'll do that another time. Maybe we'll draw a teacup or something, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, so you're going to do it on when you're doing a log kind of cylinder where it's the shapes are where it's a block, where it's a solid shape. You're going to shade the top very similar to how you're shading the bottom and the sides. And this is, like, again, extremely basic. These are not advanced techniques, and I'm not going to claim that they are the perfect execution of said basic techniques, because I am kind of going for speed a little bit so that I don't make this an incredibly crazy long video. I've kind of, anyways. Alright, we're going to do a little bit of reflected light to get a little fancy, but not a ton. You know, we're just going to get a little bit fancy. Oh, and I keep forgetting, let's do this shit. We'll do the shadows. We'll do the shadows after. Okay, so this one's a little bit rougher as far as texture. I haven't smoothed stuff out, but we'll do that. Okay, now real fast, before we move on to the sphere, because I'm probably going to be spending a little bit more time on the sphere because it is my favorite. Let's just go ahead. I take it back. Do I? Yeah, okay. No, actually I don't. Okay, so for the cone and the cylinder, we're going to go ahead and do the shadows. I haven't drawn a shadow on a cube for a really long time, so I don't want to get it wrong and mess y'all up. Shadows are something that frequently I wing. This is a very messy shadow because I'm trying to be fast, and that is like a very poorly shaped shadow. It's terrible, but we're gonna roll with it. I really hope the audio on this thing is coming out okay, because I keep turning my head. Smudge tool. No, I ruined it with the smudge tool. See, this is why you gotta be careful using the smudge tool. Okay. Anyways, that's a very poor shadow on a cone, but there's a shadow on that cone. Cylinder, very similar kind of idea. Remember, the easiest way, the best thing I've ever heard about shadows was actually, I think, something I found on the internet. This is not good. This is terrible. Where is this shadow shape coming from and where is it going? Is to think about shadows as what makes a shadow is literally an object blocking the light. That's how you get a shadow. So if there's something that is going to be blocking the light, there should be a shadow as a result of the blocking of that light. Jeez, this is not... I really should have practiced my shadows. Maybe I shouldn't do shadows. Oh well. Bad shadows. Go and look at reference and draw better shadows than I am drawing. My shadows need improvement. I need to practice drawing shadows on basic shapes. Okay, but there we go. There's our very messy, bad shadows. Okay, so now we're going to go to the sphere. The sphere's great. I love the sphere. It's so much fun. Okay, so we're going to get our darkest dark. Man, I shouldn't have. I sold a book recently. That was one of my textbooks. And it had all the names for like basically the anatomy of a sphere and the anatomy of drawing a sphere. And I could whip it out right now and show y'all, except I sold the book and I don't have it anymore. I was kind of wondering when I sold it if I should be selling it, but I did. Okay, so this is the shadow part. The reason I haven't gone all the way to the edge is you just have to either take it back or put more light in later. But why do that when you can just not include it? Because this right here is, this portion is, I'm trying to find a good, there we go, this isn't what I want, but this right here is reflected light. This is where light bounces off the surface that you're drawing on, or that the sphere is sitting on. So we're going to say it's on a table, very rolly table, not a flat table. So it's on a table, and light is going to be bouncing off the table onto the bottom of the sphere. So that's reflected light, and we're going to leave some of that. In conjunction with reflected light, we are going to have something that you call, I don't remember what the name of it is, but you have the darkest dark. The darkest and deepest shadow is right next to said reflected light in the sphere. So it's a little bit darker than the rest of the shadow. Alright, so that's like, again, we're doing very basic spheres and very basic shapes here. But now we're going to do the highlight side. Remember, all of this, you're having light, medium, and dark. The most basic way of doing this. I'm doing like these swirly patterns right now because then I'm going to come back and shade with the smudge tool. When you're working traditionally with, graphite or charcoal, you're probably going to be actually using smudge tools, little bitty like paper rolls where you smudge. It's fun stuff. And you're gonna have your highlight. No, you know what? I didn't do enough here. We're gonna add some more. I hope this being like a demo thing is making sense, because I'm not explaining everything I'm doing, but I'm trying to show. Again, this is not perfect, but I do really love drawing spheres. It's just fun. Again, this is the thing that nearly broke me, that nearly made me quit art back in when I was, I don't even know how old I was. When I was in middle school. Towards the end of middle school, I think. Was I? I don't remember. But yeah, nearly quit art over this dadgum shape right here. And today I love drawing it. So that tells you things you hate, because they're hard, with enough practice, they can become things you love. Okay, so there's a sphere. These are very rough little spheres or shapes. And we're gonna do a nice, no, too much, nice little highlight. Boo, boo, boo. Okay. And in an ideal world, I would not have all of these outlined like I do. But I do. So now this one is a bit easier. You kind of have... I am drawing this one a little bit more, because it's kind of like an oval. It's basically an oval. And I'm going to use the smudge tool to cheat a little bit. So everything you're saying me do, please go and then like go and set up a ball on the floor or a cone. Look up reference pictures, see other people do this too. Don't just go with what I'm doing. Observe. When learning the very basics, my old teacher that I learned from all the way from junior high to graduating high school with only like a very small break in there, she would tell me, her motto, she had us write this in the very beginning of all of our sketchbooks on the very first day of class, is draw what you see, not what you think you see. So go out, observe, see what things are doing, see how it looks, and then draw it. It's not going to look perfect the first time, but you are observing, you're testing, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so there are the 3 basic shapes. It's not perfect, it's not great, but there we go. You have just had traditional art, basic shapes 101. And when I say traditional art, I am thinking like not modern art, traditional, classical learning kind of stuff. Because I think that is important as a foundation. Like if you want to do modern art, great. I'm not a big fan of modern art. I just don't find it appealing or that interesting. But I do think it's important for artists in general to have a classical foundation and a classical understanding. Even illustrators, you gotta know anatomy in order to draw characters. After you know it, go for it, break all the rules, make them look as wonky as you want. But it's important to have that foundation so it at least kind of looks like you know where you're doing, what you're doing, and all that kind of stuff. So, yep, there we go. 3 basic shapes. I hope you enjoyed this. I will probably be doing more of these. I hope y'all like that. I think next time we may be doing some lighting techniques. That, or we're going to do a very basic still life, because that was the next step in my art learning career, was we did a charcoal still life after we learned the basic shapes. So yep, okay. Thank you very much, and please like and subscribe. If you like this kind of tutorial, please let me know. I would love to know if this is helpful to anyone, if anyone enjoys it, and if y'all want to see more. So yes, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate every single one of my likes and subscribers. And here you go. You have something to do now. And this can be done with a pencil, with paper, or charcoal and paper, or digitally, or on your iPad, or whatever. These are basic techniques that are not Photoshop specific. So thank you very much, and tune in next week.